Okay, day 3, early in the morning. I had my coffee, I had my Celsius, so I should be good to go. I came up with the idea that I want to change all the bolts out. The company gives you grade 8 hardware, great, except they have a manufacturing defect. Like I showed you guys, that the 2 bolts for the front radiator core support is wrong. But good thing Daryl had extra grade 8 bolts that he always has on stock because he knew about these problems, which he didn't tell me. So that's the grade 8 bolts right there. I want to at least do a grade 10 or 12. Grade 8 has about 150,000 tensile strength. I wanted something that's a little higher, because my life depends on it. The people that are going to be riding in this truck depends on it. My family depends on it. So to have them die because I did something stupid like grab a bolt from City Mill or Home Depot or Lowe's, you gotta be an idiot. I'm sorry. But they do have grade 8 bolts that the hardware comes with. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna run down to City Mill, Home Depot, Lowe's, see if I can find minimum grade 8 or 10 or 12. And like I said, I will put some pictures just for reference so you guys can see what you're actually getting. So I'll get started on this project now. Let me see where I left off. I'm not too sure. Let me see where I left off and I'll be right back. Okay, so here's where I left off. This was the passenger side. Basically, you put all the bolts back in, do not tighten it. So this is the passenger side. Now we need to repeat to the driver's side. So I will take out the bolts from the driver's side, the core support side, that's here, the middle of the cab, that's by the driver's door, and the rear of the cab by the passenger door. So let me do all that, and I will show you guys exactly how I grinded and pounded out those bolts, because that's probably worth knowing. Okay, so let me undo everything and I'll be back to show you guys how I grinded out those bolts. One more thing, before I start the driver's side, I made sure that the steering wheel was tied off, and I'll show you guys what I mean by that. See this? By doing that, when I lift the driver's side, you're gonna stretch the steering column, so I had to loosen the 2 bolts. Those 2 guys. So you're gonna loosen those 2. The reason they tell you to do the passenger side first is that when you lift the passenger side, the angle is gonna be like this, right? And then when you lift the driver's side, it should come relatively level, allowing for a straighter vantage point to take off that piece and insert the new spacer that it comes with for the steering. So that's the reason for that. Now that my steering wheel is tied off and the plane flies over, that is so irritating. Every 10-15 minutes, damn. Anyway, so now I can start taking off the driver's side. Okay, steering wheel is tied off. Loosen all the cab mounts on the driver's side, jack it up and insert the blocks. Then I can tighten everything down, Loctite it, torque it down to 55 foot-pounds. So I'll put you guys on time lapse and you can watch that. So here's what it looks like. All right, so now is the moment of truth. Time to jack it up, get the new spacers in. At the same time, since I have the steering wheel locked up, I loosened the steering column, those bolts, because it will stretch that whole thing. So at the same time, I need to take off the old steering column shaft thingy, whatever, spacer, and insert this one. Now this is the one that I said the company only, I painted it black, but the company only gave one bolt, but there's 2 holes. Now they also only sent in the package 1 bolt, so I had to get this one extra from Daryl. Anyway, I'll jack everything up, I'll time lapse everything, don't want to bore you guys, so I'll let you check that out now. Okay, so I had to stop the video. As I was jacking it up, you're supposed to check all the lines. I kept doing that. I heard something that sounded a little weird, so I decided to go underneath the truck and look. I thought I took off everything what the instructions said. The instructions failed to note one thing for the 2016 and up Tacomas, and it's a fuel line thingy that you need to disconnect. Now I'll show you where it is. It's behind the heat shield, so you have to take off the factory heat shield. I mean, it's easy, 3 little 10mm nuts, so I'll show you where that's located. I'm not sure if the camera will get under there, but there's a factory heat shield above the catalytic converter, and I had to pop this one off, and way up front in there, I don't know if you can see it, but right up in there. So you have to take off the factory heat shield, which is, it was like this. See, you just take this off. Get a little flathead screwdriver, pop these guys down, and they will pop right back on, but we're gonna put on the spacers. So pop this guy off, pop the one in the front off, and now the fuel lines are totally loose from the body. Oh boy. All right, now I can put you guys back on time lapse and lift the truck up, watch the steering, insert that spacer for the steering, and insert the spacers for the body itself. All right, time lapse. And once again, I heard some kind of weird sound, and this is what it was. It's the battery, I don't know, it's some kind of power wire that goes to the main fuse box. That guy. And it's this. This is the one you have to take a 12mm socket to take it off, and the instructions did not say anything about it. So I'll show you what it looks like so you know. All right, that was a 12mm that needed to come off. Back to time lapse. Here's another helpful tip. If you're like me and you painted your steering shaft spacer, make sure you do not get paint in there. If you get paint in here, you're screwed. If you do, try to make sure you clean out all the threads. It's good just to run a screwdriver down every single little line in there. And something that will really help you take a screwdriver, the biggest one you can, put it in the slot, pound it a little to spread it open. That'll make it easier to go in. So I'm gonna do that now. All right, it's just millimeters, but that's gonna make a world of difference. Okay, time to put this back in now. All right, I got everything in. The body lift is in. I'm not gonna lie, to get that steering spacer thing in was a pain in the freaking butt. Here, this thing. Right in there. The only way I could do it was to start at the top. So you try to wiggle it in after you clean out the spacer, clean it all out, put some oil on it, get it all lubed up. I got my little brass hammer, started tapping the hell out of it. Took me half an hour. Tap that one in. Then you're gonna try to align the lower portion. Then you tap that sucker down. Then you can finally lower the body. And now I will show you guys in real time what to do with the stock body bolts. You need to take the captive washers off. Don't just try to use your own washers. The factory ones are thick, big, heavy. So you're gonna have to reuse those. I'll show you what I did to get it off. I'll show you in real time right now. All right, so here's the one with the threads, and it's not going to come off. There you go. That's all to it. Now you take these washers, the captive washers, using the supply bolts, put everything in and tighten it down, Loctite both sides. So I'll do all that. I'll be back. All right, the front cab bolts are all done. It's been torqued down, it's been Loctited. Now is the time that I procrastinated on. Damn it, I didn't empty my toolbox. So 10-15 minutes of video so far. It's been 5 hours for me. I'm gonna have to unload this truck and then I can start on the rear cab bolts. So while I spend another hour emptying it, I'll be back again. All right, let's see where I'm at now. Instead of removing my whole toolbox, I was able to unbolt it, just muscle it and slide it forward to give me enough room to get to the very back bolts, which are back here. All right, so that takes care of that. Now it says to loosen the passenger side bolts and fully take out, no, loosen the driver side bolts, then fully take out the passenger side, and repeat the same process. These are the bolts that I have left. So the two long ones will go in the back and two in the middle, two in the front. So just remember the two long bolts that you have remaining will go on the back. So let me loosen everything and then get started on that. Well, I took out the 3 bolts on the passenger side. I did notice that the front one was rusted. So when I put the new bolts on, I will be sure to, I'll probably use anti-seize. I'm going to anti-seize the whole bolt. That way I'll never have to worry about rust. Well, I mean, not never, but it'll help resist it totally, or a lot more. This one does have the threaded part. So let me grind these all down and then see what's next. So I think once I grind these down, I lift up the passenger side, insert the blocks, put the new bolts in, then I'm going to anti-seize all over it. So let me grind these first and I'll be back again. Well, the bed seems a whole lot easier. I mean, I was able to just lift the bed myself, but I put a piece of 2x4 on one of the ribs. I'll show you that now. So pretty much that easy. You just jack it up, stick this little spacer in between. Oh, a little more. All right, so let me do the passenger side and then loosen the driver side, do the same thing and torque everything down and use Loctite. So let me take care of that. I'll be right back. I'm burning already in the sun. My skin is just frying. I'll be right back. All right, the passenger side is done. And I hand tightened all of them. I did not torque them down yet. They're just hand tight. Now I'll go to the the driver's side. But I'm not sure if you guys can see. This is why you needed to loosen the wires. All right, and the driver's side, I did loosen the bracket that was under here for the fuel filler neck, and you took off the gas cap. I'm not sure if you guys can see, but it's under. I'm not sure if you can see, but it's under here. Okay, so now I gotta take the bolts off from this side and then lift up the bed again with a 2x4 and put the new bolts in. So once I do that, I'll be back again. Okay, so let's see where we're at. I'm trying to hide from the wind because it is stupid windy today. It's so retarded. Here we go, page 14. I'll turn the camera around. Okay, so loosen the driver's side, then fully take off the passenger side, insert the spacer blocks. Then lift the driver's side, use Loctite. It doesn't give you any torque ratings, but I'm assuming it's 55 like the other side. Okay, so once you're done with all of that, there's a very important warning. Your bumper is no longer rated for towing of any kind. This will result in death. Wow. Okay, the next step. So they tell you to take off the bumper cover and start cutting the bumper. Cut the bumper here, cut the bumper there, and then it's onto the fuel lines. But I'll go over what I'm gonna do differently. Oh, so let's take a look. So everything is done. The gaps are nice. I mean, I'm happy with the gaps. The doors close perfectly fine. The tailgate closes perfectly fine. There you go. Everything works perfect. It is so damn windy now. So when it comes to towing, I'm pretty much not gonna tow. It doesn't matter. The truck is a lifted truck. It's a pain in the butt to ever tow with a lifted truck. And I do have a Nissan Frontier, stock height, so it's nice and low, a lot of power, nothing's wrong. So I'll use that to tow if I ever do tow again. In that case, I could care less. Now, the kit leaves the tow hitch where it's at now. And for aesthetics, you're supposed to disassemble everything and it raises the bumper itself. And then it leaves that 2-inch gap between the bottom of the bumper and the tow hitch. So what I'm gonna do, because I do not tow, I'm gonna take off the 6 bolts on each side, 3 bolts on each, 4 bolts, whatever. I'm gonna unbolt the bumper with the tow hitch, and I'm gonna lift the whole tow hitch up and everything, mark it, drill the holes, and bolt it back in with grade 8 nuts and bolts. So that's my plan for this part. Now I think the instructions say to start putting all the bracketry in order to for the radiator, the fan shroud, for all the brake lines, all the fuel lines. So let me see what's on the next agenda for now. All right, so I left off here. This is the very last part where it says to bolt everything down, use Loctite, torque it, whatever. This is their disclaimer saying that you will die if you use this to tow something. Next, you would have disassembled the whole bumper. These are the markings where you would cut the bumper, cut the tow hitch, but I'm not gonna cut the tow hitch. Instead, we're skipping all that. What is this? Oh, more cutting of the bumper. Nope. Oh, stupid wind. The brake lights, nope. Wires. Okay, I did all the wiring harnesses. Okay, now is the second. God damn wind. Shit. Okay, this is where you would have taken off the fuel filler lines, and the wind is stupid crazy. Hopefully you guys can hear and it's not too crazy windy. So damn it. Okay, so I am not going to cut. Like I said, I did release there's a little bracket right here. I did release that bracket, and I will fab up my own using one of the hardware brackets that I'm not gonna use. So you would have did the fuel filler. God damn wind. Okay, more of that. Holes, no. Okay, so right here is the little bracket that I am now gonna make my own bracketry for. Oh my god, the freaking wind is pissing me off. Okay, so what's next? Okay, so now we start putting in all the bracketry. Oh god damn wind. Okay, we need to put in the bracketry for all the brake lines. So this looks like the emergency brake first. Emergency brake. Fuel line, emergency brake, fuel line. Okay, I'll go through it one at a time. Let me grab everything and I'll be right back. Okay, change of plan. Here's what I'm gonna do now. I'm done for today. I am done. I'll pick this up again tomorrow. You guys ever have that one person that just sends you off into that place that there's no coming back from? Yeah, well, this is one of those times. At that point, all you can do is say, I'm done. So, I'm done. Thanks, everybody. I hope you guys have a really good day. I will see you guys again tomorrow on part 3.